The engine is running. The spotter is in your ear. You are Kyle Larson, and you are leading with 20 laps to go. You can feel the track. You know the groove. You've done this 32 times in NASCAR Cup Series racing. You've won a championship. You've made this sport look effortless. But then, a caution flag drops. A pit call doesn't go your way. A restart puts the wrong car on your outside. And the win that was right there, that was almost in your hands, is gone again. That feeling, speed without a checkered flag, has been playing on a loop inside the number 5 garage for over a year now. And what nobody is telling you is just how deep this thing actually goes. Here's the number that rewires your brain: 39 races without a win. That is the longest winless drought for the defending NASCAR Cup Series champion since Kyle Larson joined Hendrick Motorsports in 2021. Through their first 11 races of 2026, Larson has already led 499 laps, among the highest totals in the entire garage, and still has not converted a single victory. He sits 6th in points, has 5 top 5s and 8 top 10 finishes, and has led 573 laps on the season, almost 180 more than Tyler Reddick, who has 5 wins. So how does the man leading the most laps in the garage have 0 wins to show for it? Before we go further, NASCAR Track Report is closing in on 500 subscribers, and that milestone belongs to every person watching right now. If this kind of real, no-filler NASCAR content is what you come here for, then hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this video. Your support is what makes it possible to keep delivering breakdowns like this one. Now back to the numbers, because they tell a brutal story. At Bristol, Larson led 284 laps and swept both stages before balance swings and dirty air dropped him back to 3rd. At Kansas, he led 78 laps, won stage 2, and ran elite pace, then a strategy execution error cost him the lead and dropped him to 2nd. At Las Vegas, he led 62 laps before fading to 7th. The problem is not the driver's pace. The problem is the finish line. When Larson addressed the winless stretch publicly, his words split NASCAR fans straight down the middle. In a teleconference, Larson said, "It's kind of wild to think that, yeah, it's almost been a year since I've won. I don't feel like we're that bad. We want to get back to victory lane. We're working as hard as we ever have worked, I feel like, as a group. We want to win. It's just gotten really tough for whatever reason. But, yeah, this series is tough. I know a lot of times we've made winning maybe look easy, but it's not, and I've never felt that it was easy. Calm. Measured. Reasonable." But then came the quote that set X Twitter on fire. On Sirius XM NASCAR radio, Larson said, "I don't feel bummed or sad or anything of that nature that we haven't won in over a year now because we have been consistent. I'm not going to stress myself out about it either because I understand that there's still work to be done to get to where we need to be." And then came a line that pushed the blame toward the competition. "I just think that we've had less opportunities to win just because the Toyota cars are so fast." Sports on Prime posted on X, "That's a crazy stat. Kyle Larson on being 6th in points despite not winning a race this season." The fan response was immediate. Was this calm confidence, or was it a defending champion in denial? NASCAR insiders have not reached any single answer. 3 major voices have weighed in, and none of them agree. Brad Gilley of PRN Fast Talk came to Larson's defense with force. "I heard all the same things that all of you said about Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson, and that's just enough. I heard this 5 years ago with Jimmy Johnson. You think Jimmy Johnson forgot how to drive? You're an idiot. Shut up, sit down. He's going to win 8 races in a row." I'm not putting Kyle Larson in that category, but I think drivers slump and team slump. I think this may be more of a team slump than a driver's slump. Former NASCAR driver Kyle Petty pointed his finger in a different direction. "I think it's a both slump because I don't think Larson has shown back up, even though he won the championship. When we go back to it, he disappeared when he went to Indy last year." Petty directly connected the 2025 Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 double attempt to Larson's current struggles, arguing the physical and mental toll of that weekend was never fully processed or recovered from. Then came Kevin Harvick, and his diagnosis pointed straight at the machinery. Harvick's observation stripped away any comfort Hendrick Motorsports fans might still be holding on to. The number 9 Elliott does better than those other 3 cars is, even when they are off, they are figuring out how to finish 6th, 7th, 8th. When the number 24 Byron and the number 5 Larson are off, it tanks. Harvick went further and revealed the structural issue underneath it all. Chevrolet's updated Camaro ZL1 body for 2026, designed to improve front-end downforce, has created a tighter balance window than Hendrick anticipated. Harvick warned, they've got a new body this year that seems to have thrown them for a bigger loop than everybody anticipated. And Harvick's most damaging observation was this: it is no longer Hendrick Motorsports leading the Chevrolet charge. Trackhouse Racing has become a weekly contender. Spire Motorsports has made dramatic gains, with Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez running near the front and delivering surprise victories. The king of Chevrolet is getting beaten by his own brand. The pressure reached its peak after Watkins Glen International, where all 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers finished outside the top 20. Kyle Larson ended the race in 23rd, the highest finisher among the teams for cars. The result stood as Hendrick Motorsports' worst road course showing since 2005. Before Watkins Glen, the conversation was about a winless streak. After Watkins Glen, the conversation shifted to something structurally wrong inside one of the most celebrated programs in the sport. Larson himself admitted the truth at Dover: "I would say we're not where we want to be, that's pretty obvious. I feel like we started the year off better than where we're at right now. We had a couple of good races with Bristol and Kansas, but the last few have not gone well. Talladega, we got caught up in a crash, was miserable at Texas and almost as miserable at Watkins Glen. It's been disappointing, but we're working really hard." That same driver had weeks earlier said he was not stressed. The contrast between those two statements is a story on its own. Inside Hendrick Motorsports, the scoreboard makes everything worse. Through the first third of the season, Larson ranks 8th in the regular season championship standings, 235 points behind 5-time 2026 winner Tyler Reddick, 106 points below Denny Hamlin, and 90 markers below HMS teammate Chase Elliott. His own teammate has already won multiple races. Inside the most competitive 4-car stable in NASCAR, being the defending champion and sitting behind your teammate in the standings creates a tension that does not need to be spoken out loud to be felt. Larson himself acknowledged the uncertainty in terms that were striking in their honesty. "I feel like at times we're really close to getting a win, and then, at times I feel like we're far from getting a win, so it just kind of shows how tough this series is." That quote, "sometimes close, sometimes far," is the most revealing and most unsettling thing he has said all season. That is not the language of a champion in control. That is the language of a program searching for answers. And in NASCAR, when a team at this level is searching for answers, the cost shows up on the scoreboard every Sunday. Historically, notable prime-era slumps include Mark Martin in 2001, Kurt Busch in 2008, Carl Edwards in 2009, and Jeff Gordon, who went through a stretch of one win across 114 races while still leading thousands of laps. Gordon was fast. Gordon was competitive. Gordon just couldn't close. The parallels are impossible to ignore. Kyle Larson has led 573 laps through 15 races of 2026, second only to Denny Hamlin, and still has 0 wins. Tyler Reddick has 5. The defending champion is being lapped in the win column by the competition. Larson told reporters, "It's not like we're not trying to win. We've made this sport, the Cup Series, look easy at times. I've never thought it was. I'm glad that we can show you that it's not easy." But here is what that statement does not answer. Is this the natural difficulty of modern NASCAR, or is something structurally broken inside Hendrick Motorsports? Is it the Chevy body? Is it the aerodynamic balance window? Is it strategy? Is it something that began at Indianapolis in 2025 that nobody has fully addressed? And why, when Larson says publicly that he is calm, do the results keep telling a completely different story? If you are someone who genuinely wants to understand whether Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports can turn this around before the playoffs, drop your prediction in the comments right now. because this is exactly the kind of conversation this channel is built for. Share this video with every NASCAR fan you know who thinks this story is bigger than the mainstream is giving it credit for. We are 500 subscribers away from a milestone, and your share gets us there faster than anything else. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.